Please chant Shanti Mantra as usual. This is on page 186 of the book Universal Prayers. 186, the second one on that page. This is from Shankaracharya's famous hymn, Shiva Manasa Puja. Manasa Puja means mental worship. To offer to Lord Shiva. And this one stanza is from that hymn. Om Atma Tvam Girijamati Sagachara Prana Shariram Gragam Pujate Vishayopa Rachana Nidra Samadhisthiti Sanchara Padayo Pradakshina Vidhi Stotrani Sarva Giro Yad Yad Karma Karomi Tattadakilam Shambho Tavaradhanam Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord Shambho, myself, innermost self thou art. My mind I liken to the Divine Mother, thy consort. My vital airs are thy followers, and my body to thy temple. My enjoyments I regard as offerings made unto thee. My sleep is a form of absorption in thee. My wanderings are like circumambulations, while my words are prayers offered unto thee. O Lord beneficent, whatsoever I do, may it all be as worship made unto thee. This Shanti Mantra describes what you are trying to study in the present third and fourth chapters. Namely, all actions have to be done as yajna, offering. That means, offering means worship. Worship of the divine, offering to a larger cause, offering to the society, to the community, to the country, to the whole world, to whole mankind, and animals, plants. Not just for me, but as many people, beings as possible, should benefit from my work. With that large attitude, you have to work, not for just myself. That is a binding. So we like study that topic. It has come in third chapter. We are studying it now. Everything as yajna. Now we go to verse number 23. Right, Devi? Today we have to do 23. Yes. From 19th verse until 23rd verse, Sri Krishna is describing a yogi or a devotee who has become free from the notion of kartritvam. Kartritvam means kartapan. I am the doer. That person does not feel that he is the doer. He is doing a lot of work. We'll understand how it is possible. Supposing a person works very hard in the office and he feels he's under tension. He feels I'm working so hard and this is too much work and I can't manage it. I'm stuck with it. That feeling is there, working very hard. That is one way I have to do, one situation. That person feels I'm working so hard, so difficult, so much work for me. Now, the same person, that weekend, his friend is moving from one house to another house. So that friend asks several of his friends to come and help in the moving. So 3-4 friends go there on a Saturday morning to help that person move and stuff from one house to another house. They work all day, very hard. These 4 or 5 people From morning until evening Saturday, they work very hard. And when they are working, they're enjoying it. They're having a good time. They're all friends. They have pizza for lunch, and they're enjoying, and they're working very hard, lifting things and everything they're doing. But they don't feel that tension. They're enjoying every moment. They're happy. They're making jokes and working joyfully. But it's not easy work. It's not desk work. It's hard stuff, moving up and down, everything. So what's the difference? Hard work in the office, which is mostly desk work in front of computer, hard work, manual work here for a friend, same person. In one case, he becomes tense and stressed out and unhappy. By the time he goes home, he's stressed out. But here on a Saturday, he does all of manual hard work. Whole day is enjoying, he's having a good time. When he goes home, he's very happy. You see the difference? It's all the attitude. Say a yogi or a devotee who performs all work as offering, as worship. Yajna means offering to a larger cause. Not for me, but not for me alone, but for everything, everybody. Unselfish way. In an unselfish way, if a person works, then he doesn't feel it is hard work. He enjoys it. He doesn't feel the tension. There is no stress. As if he has not done anything. That is how a person should work. So Gatas, that verse number 23 describes that one. It's not the work that counts that much. It's the way, the attitude with which we work. Same thing about a young mother taking care of her child all night. The child is crying. She has to get up and feed the child, change the diapers, and she can't sleep. But she doesn't complain. It's the child. She does it lovingly. Doesn't feel. So it's all in the mind. We have to change our attitude, do all our work as offering, lovingly, joyfully, enjoying, and may everybody benefit. Great. You don't feel the tension. You don't feel that you have done anything. That is the kind of frame of mind that we have to try to develop. So let us do 23. Gata sangasya muktasya jnanavasthita chetasaha yajñaya charata karma samagram praviliyate. The translation is whose attachment has vanished, gata sangasya, who has been liberated, muktasya, whose mind has been established in knowledge, jnanavasthita chetasaha, and who works as a sacrifice, and who works as a sacrifice. Yajñaya charatah karma samagram praviliyate. All works are dissolved. Dissolved means they don't leave any impression, they don't create any attachment. Person is free. If you do all work with this attitude in an unselfish way, as an offering, as yajna, as worship, then we become free. That kind of work leads to God realization. That is the key. Why we have to do all these things. If you do it in the opposite way, if you work in the opposite way, with attachment to the fruit of work, and with tension, sometimes with anger, sometimes with jealousy, sometimes unwillingly, with a selfish motive, that kind of work binds the person. Binds means it creates impressions, unhelpful impressions in the mind, and those impressions will again create more karma, and that karma phala cycle will continue. We get stuck in that karma phala cycle. We don't want that. We want to be liberated. Then this is the way to work. So the idea is the first term itself is the key. Gata sangasya. Sri Ramakrishna said the whole gist, summary of the teachings of Gita can be expressed in one word. That is Tyaga. Tyagi, Tyagi, Tyagi. If you say Gita, 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 it becomes Tyagi, Tyagi. That is what Sri Krishna has been telling us from second chapter onwards. Give up attachment. That's the key. That's the summary of Bhagavad Gita teaching. Give up attachment to everything, to work, to result of work, to body, to relatives, to find, to money, to property, to everything, to fame and everything. Attachment. If you give up, then you are free. If you are attached, you are bound. Gata sangasya muktasya, person who is freed. Jnana avastita chetasaha. This means whose mind is established in the knowledge of the self. Jnani's attitude. I am not the body mind. I am the self. I am Atman. I am not. I don't have any work to do. Atman has no work. Body mind does the work. We'll study this again in chapter 5, verse 8 and 9. A person who is body conscious thinks he is the doer. I am the doer because I think I'm the body mind. If you have body consciousness, then we have kartrutva. Kartrutva means I'm the doer. Notion. A person who is free from this ignorance that I am the body, such a person says I'm not working. Body sense organs are working. I'm free. I'm the Atma. Such a person is jnana avastita chetasa. Of such a person, yajnaya karma acharata. Yajnaya means for the sake of yajna, all work he does. Such a person does. Karma acharata yajnaya. This came in the third chapter. Very important shloka, chapter 3, shloka number 9. That's where this whole yajna thing began. There Sri Krishna says, chapter 3, verse 9, Yajnarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Yajnarthat anyatra. Other than as yajna, if a person does work, he is going to be bound. So, perform all work as yajna. The teaching began from there, 3:9. I will continue in the next chapter also, 5th chapter also. Yajnaya charatah karma. A person who performs all karma as yajna. Yajna means offering to a larger, offering to God, offering to society, offering to family, offering to everybody. I will be included in that one too. If my whole family benefits, I will be benefited. If my whole country benefits, I'll be. If my whole department benefits in office, if I work for the well-being of the whole department, I will be benefited too because I'm a part of that. But if I do it only for me, then that is binding, limited, narrow. Narrowness is binding. Expansion is liberating. So Swamiji said, the more unselfish you become, the closer you get to God. And if you become completely unselfish, you will become one with God. This is in Karma Yoga book. He said only 3 words, most famous sentence. Please try to remember this one. Swamiji said, unselfishness is God. These are his words, Mahavakya. So we have to practice unselfishness in all our actions. Every day we have opportunity. So this is what this shloka says. Yajnaya charata karma. For a person who performs all action as yajna, samagram praviliyate, all karma, bondage of karma, everything ceases, stops. So this, in one sentence, the summary is, do all karma as yajna, as required in 3:9, chapter 3, shloka. So that is the end of that section, 23. Now we come to the familiar shloka, 424. All of us are familiar with this one. And this is my favorite shloka because whenever I chant, both will be there. So let us do 424. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi Brahmagnau brahmana hutam brahmaiva tena gantavyam brahma karma samadhina. The means of the sacrificial offering is Brahman. Brahman is the oblation placed in the fire of Brahman, and by Brahman is the sacrifice made. This sacrificer who concentrates on the act that is Brahman reaches Brahman alone. That means in any action, there is a performer, there is an object, there is some action, karma. All of these things are different aspects of Brahman. Brahman alone appears as all action, as every aspect of all action. So Brahma Arpanam, Arpanam means Arpanam yena karanena brahmavit havihi agnau arpayati. The karanam, instrument. Every action requires some instrument. Which action can you do without instrument? Thinking also requires instrument. There is no external instrument in thinking. I'm closing my eyes and thinking, what is the instrument I'm using? My mind. All actions require some instrument. So that instrument is also an aspect of Brahman. Everything, Sarvam Kalavidam Brahma, whole universe is Brahman. So we see that in reference to actions. Brahma Havihi. Havis means the offering that is made. For example, they pour a spoonful of ghee into the homa fire. That is Havis. Or some other homa samagri they will offer. That is offering. That is the object that is offered is also Brahman. Brahma Havihi, Brahmagnau, where it is offered into the fire. That fire is also Brahman. Brahmagni. The recipient is also Brahman. Brahmana Hutam, who is making the offering? The person is also Brahman. By Brahman, this offering is made. Brahmana Hutam. If a person concentrates on everything as Brahman while performing any action, then what happens? That person becomes one with Brahman. Brahmaiva tena gantavyam, that person has to go to Brahman or merge with Brahman. Brahma karma samadhina, a person who concentrates on all aspects of karma as Brahman. Whenever you do something, we should think this is all being done for God by His grace. He is the recipient. He has provided the materials, He has provided the ability, opportunity. God, bringing God into every frame of every moment. So that is the mantra that we chant before taking food. Then this applies to all, not only eating, to all actions. Specifically for eating, this example is given in chapter 15, 14 also. The food is Brahman that we eat. Havis is Brahman. And it's offered into the Jataragni. Jatara means the stomach. Jataragni means the fire in the stomach. Vaishvanara. The Lord Himself is sitting there as Vaishvanara. He says that in the 15th chapter. I am sitting as Vaishvanara in everybody's body, digesting food. He specifically says, I am digesting the food that people, animals, plants eat. So it is all offering to the Lord Himself. Eating is an offering. Eating is yajna. So this means the implication is when we eat, we should remember it's a kind of worship, it's a kind of yajna we are doing. I'm offering it to the Lord Vaishvanara present in my body to help me. This is offering made to Him. So eating has to be done in a certain way. There are certain conventions. Rules or conventions. Before eating, one should wash hands and face. and feet, and if possible, change the clothes, sit down in a calm frame of mind, not thinking about all kinds of things, not gossiping, not criticizing somebody, negative thoughts, with pure thoughts in mind, with a worshipful attitude, nicely, slowly. We have to eat right kind of food at the right time and right quantity. Because he's receiving. You should not put junk food to give. And God is receiving, will you give junk food to him? No, nice food. Nice living, nice loving attitude we have to offer it to him. Every master. That is the convention. We have to follow those conventions. Okay, now we go to 25. In 25 onwards until 33, in that section, Sri Krishna describes different kinds of yajna. Different kinds of yajna. They're all going on within us and outside us too. So what are the different kinds of yajna? This always 24 hours, this yajna is happening in our bodies. But we don't recognize it like that. So let us study 25. Daivameva pare yajnam yogina paryupasate brahmagnau apare yajnam yajne naivopajuhvati. Different kinds of people perform yajna in different ways. The most obvious kind of yajna that all of us are familiar with is yajna that you do externally. For example, the Arya Samaja people, they do Gayatri Homa every day. Every day they do. Those who are very particular. Some people do once a week. Chanting Gayatri mantra, they set up a fire, they chant Vedic mantra, they offer everything. That's one kind of yajna. Other people, following the Purana tradition, they offer yajna to various deities. There is something called Ganapati Homa. For the deity Ganapati, they establish a fire, invoke his presence there, and do all kinds of offering, chanting Vedic mantras to Ganapati. Daiva yajna. Daiva means your God, that is personal God. Some people do Chandi yajna, Chandi Homa, chanting the whole of Chandi, 700 verses, and setting up a fire and ceremonially offering, making all the offerings. After every shloka, 700 slokas are there, then they do the offering. It takes 3-4 hours. We did that once in Ganges many years ago when Swami Bhashanji Maharaj became sick. We did. And some of you were there at that time, I think. There's Chandi Homa, Ganapati Homa, Chandi Homa. Like this, for different deities, they do Homa. Gayatri Homa, like that one. So that is called Daiva Yajnam. Daiva Meva Pare Yajnam. Apare means other people, some people. Daivam Paryupasate, Yogina Paryupasate. They perform to various deities, they perform yajna. This is external yajna. Setting up a fire, chanting mantras, and making the offerings with prayer. That is one kind of yajna. That is Daiva yajna. It's also called Dravya yajna. Dravya means material. Other people, the second line, Brahmagnau apare yajnam yajne naivo pajuhvati. In this second kind of yajna, there is no external paraphernalia, no fire is set up, no offering is made. How do they do that yajna? Brahmagnau. Brahman is the all-pervasive absolute reality, Brahman, right? Now, the second word, Brahma apare yajnam, the word, you see the word yajnam in the second line, middle of second line, that yajna has a very different meaning here. It had in a third chapter also. Yajna means the individual Atman. I, as an individual Atman, separate being, I am not reality, only Brahman is reality. I am a separate being is ignorance. I am a separate being with this body, that is lack of self-knowledge. Now, that ignorance And that individual Atman, Jivatman, is offered into Brahman, Paramatman, merges into the Brahman in meditation. For this, there is no fire setting up. It happens in meditation. In meditation, a person thinks, I am Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, I'm not the ego, I'm Brahman. That kind of affirmation, merging the individual into the infinite Brahman, Paramatma, merging the Jivatman into Paramatma in meditation. That is different kind of, it's very difficult to do, some people do. That's also a yajna. Brahma now in the fire of Paramatman, Parabrahman, yajnam, Atmanam, individual, Jivatmanam, Jivat Atmanam, yajnenaivapajuhvati. They offer their own individual self into the Supreme Self and become one with it in meditation. That is different kind of yajna. Many kinds of yajna are there. All are not suitable for everybody. If we cannot do one, we should not feel bad because all kinds of yajna is not meant for everybody. We have to choose something that we can do. So now different kinds of yajna are being described. Sloka number 26. Shrotraadinindriyanyanye samyamagnishu juhvati shabdadin vishayanyanye indriyagnishu juhvati. In our body and mind, yajna is happening all the time. You can recognize. So it's explained here. Shrotraadini. Anya means other people. Anya means Shrotrani, Anya means other people. Different people do different kind of thing. Anya, Shotradini Indriyani. Sense organs such as ears, all other sense organs. Samyamagnishu Juhvati. In the fire of self-control, Samyama means self-control. In the fire of self-control, they offer all the sense organs. Samyamagnishu, in the fire of self-control, Anya, other people, Shrotradini Indriyani Juhvati. They offer all the sense organs. What does that mean? Offering sense organs into the fire of self-control. That means they exercise control of sense organs, which is a just come from second chapter, Sutaprajna Lakshana, control of sense organs. So when you control sense organs, eye says, I want to see something. I should say, no, that's not good for me. I'm not going to see. Then I am controlling the organ of eye. Ear says, I want to hear something. I say, no, I'm not. I don't. It's not good. I don't want to hear. That is control of sense organ. So like that, in the fire of self-control, I offer these activities of sense organs, control the sense organs. That is one kind of yajna. In the second line, sloka 26, Shabdadin Vishayanyanye Indriyagnishu Juhvati. Shabdadin Vishayan. Shabdadin Vishayan. Vishaya means sense object, such as sound. Shabda means sound. Sound is a sense object, and name and form, shape, that's a sense object. Like this, different 5 kinds of sense objects are there. These sense objects, Shabdadin, Vishayan, Anya means other people, different kind of people. Indriyagnishu Juhvati. They offer the sense objects into the fire of sense organ. Indriyagni. Sense organ itself is the recipient, fire. What is offered? Sense objects are offered. That means whenever I use my sense organ, I am doing yajna. How? Supposing I am seeing a photo here. Some person's photo or God's photo I'm seeing. So the object that I am seeing, that is Vishaya. Vishaya means sense object. The photo that I am seeing is being offered into the sense organ eye. That merges. So that is one kind of yajna. That means cognition of objects by sense organs is also to be done as yajna. When I hear some sound, supposing somebody is chanting God's name, somebody is chanting devotional song or Vedic mantra, I hear that one with my ears. Then that is yajna. I'm offering that sound into the sense organ of ear. Shabdadin, sense object. Shabda means sense object. Indriyagnishu, in the fire of sense organ, I am offering as yajna. So all sensory activities also to be done as yajna. When I see something, yajna. When I hear something, yajna. Like that. When I go from this place to that place, that is yajna. See, yajna has been brought into every frame of our life, every moment. So 26. Now we go to 27. Sarvani indriya karmani prana karmani cha pare atma samyama yogagnau juhvati jnana deepite. Yet others, apare, sacrifice all sense activities and all activities of vital breath prana in the fire of self-restraint kindled by knowledge. Indriya karmani means activities of sense organs. Seeing, touching, hearing, these are sense organs, activities of indriya karma. Indriya karma means activities of sense organs. And prana karmani. Prana karmani means those activities which are actuated by the vital force, prana, like breathing, blood circulation. Those things happen without our conscious effort, but those are prana karmas. Prana enables them. If prana is not there, none of these things will happen. Indriya karmani prana karma. That means all activities that we do, voluntary or involuntary, Atma Samyama Yoga now Juhvati, self-control. The fire is self-control. Atma Samyama Yoga means that is self-control, controlling the mind and sense organs. In that fire, Atma Samyama Yoga now, Prana Karmani, Indriya Karmani, Juhvati. All activities are offered in the fire of self-control, controlling the mind and sense organs. How does the fire of self-control is lit? How can we light the fire of self-control? Jnana deepite, by the fire of knowledge. Knowledge here means self-knowledge. If I think I'm the body and the mind, then I'm in ignorance. Then it's difficult to control sense organs. But if I think I'm the Atman, self-knowledge, that Atman, self-knowledge burns ignorance. That fire of self-knowledge helps us to exercise self-control, Atma Samyama. In that fire of self-control, all activities, prana karma, indriya karmas are offered as yajna. If it sounds too difficult to do, don't worry, there are simpler ways. Everything is not meant for everybody. You can't do all of these things. Everybody cannot do. There are simpler ways. Now 28. Dravya yajñas tapo yajña yoga yajñas tatha pare swadhyaya jnana yajñascha yatayas samshita vrata. Different kinds of yajna. Dravya yajna. Dravya yajna means material. Offering ghee and various things are offered there. Sometimes they offer clothes, sometimes they offer food, cooked food, everything into the fire. That is dravya. Dravya means material. Material offering, dravya yajna. Second kind of yajna is tapo yajna. Tapas is itself yajna. Tapas is of three kinds. Three kinds of tapas will be described in the 17th chapter. Briefly, there are three kinds of tapas are tapas pertaining to the physical body. Shariram tapaha. That is, it will come in the later chapter, 17th chapter. Shariram tapaha. Then the second kind of yajna is austerity pertaining to speech. Vangmayam tapaha. Vak means speech. That is another kind of tapas. Third kind of tapas is manasam tapaha. Mental control, control of the mind. Control of body, control of speech, control of mind. By austerities. By practicing certain disciplines, we can control all these three instruments. These are called three karana. Karana means instrument. These three instruments only we have. Body, speech, mind. With these three only you have to do everything, all work. So these three instruments have to be kept in good condition by practicing austerities. Those are described later in the 17th chapter. Now, that is tapo yajna. Dravya yajna means material yajna, actually putting material into fire. Tapo yajna means yajna of austerity, performing three kinds of austerities. Tapo yajna. Other people yoga yajna. Other people perform yoga yajna means Ashtanga yoga. Patanjali's Ashtanga yoga has 8 steps, as the name indicates. Yama, you don't have to memorize these things now. I'm just mentioning it. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Culminating in samadhi is the 8th step. That is Raja Yoga. Swamiji has written a book on Raja Yoga, commenting on Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. So that is, some people do that one. It's somewhat difficult, but some people do Raja Yoga. As I said, everything is not suitable for everybody. So if you cannot do something, don't feel bad. There is something else you can do, you'll find out. Yoga Yajna means Jnana Yoga. No, Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga. Apare means other people. Other people still, Swadhyaya Jnana Yajnascha. Other people do Swadhyaya as Yajna. Swadhyaya means, two meanings are there for Swadhyaya. General meaning is study of scriptures, as we are doing now. We are doing Yajna now. When you study Gita, this is Swadhyaya Yajna. See, we are already doing Yajna now. Study of scriptures, not to become scholars or anything, but to understand and use it in our spiritual life, sadhana. That is Jnana Yajna, Swadhyaya Yajna. What we are doing is Swadhyaya Yajna. Swadhyaya Jnana Yajnascha. Yatayaha means all the yatis, those who are leading a spiritual life, controlled life. Samshita vrataha, they perform severe austerities. Vrata means austerity. So different people perform different kinds of austerities as spiritual practice, depending upon their ability and temperament and suitability. Tapo yajna, three kinds of tapas are described in the 17th chapter. If you like to need shloka numbers 14, 15, 16. Chapter 17, shloka numbers 14, 15, 16. They describe three kinds of yajna that we all have to do. It's compulsory. You have to control the body. You have to control the speech. You have to control the mind. That's compulsory for all spiritual seekers, for everybody in general. So those are three kinds of tapas. We'll study them later. Now we go to shloka number 29. This becomes a little bit technical in the next two shlokas. Apane juhvati pranam, prane panam tatha pare, pranapanagati ruddhva, pranayama parayana. Here describes a breathing pranayama is a kind of yajna. Apana means the outgoing breath. Apane juhvati pranam. Pranam is incoming breath. The outgoing breath, in the outgoing breath, incoming breath is offered. When you take breath inside, then the breath goes outside. So that is movement of breath is also a kind of yajna, pranayama. Prane panam tatha pare. Offering incoming breath in outgoing breath and outgoing breath, incoming breath, that is pranayama. At apare, some people perform pranayama. Why pranayama is done? Because prana, if prana is controlled, breathing is controlled, it calms down the mind, as you saw last time. If the mind is controlled, breathing becomes under control by itself. Breathing becomes smooth and streamlined. If mind is calm, if mind is perturbed, angry, or upset, then breathing also becomes irregular. That we know. So if you control the breathing, mind becomes calm. If the mind is controlled, breathing becomes regular. They are related that way. So pranayama is one way to control the mind. Pranapana gati rudhva. Rudhva means controlling. Nirodha means control. Rudhva, controlling the movement of prana apana, outgoing and incoming breath. Streamlining. There are different rules, different numbers. To the count of 4, you inhale, then hold it for a count of 8 and exhale it for a count of 16. We don't have to follow this. I recommend we not do that unless we have some proper guidance. Swami Vivekananda has written a very small book. It's called 6 Lessons in Raja Yoga. If you can get the book, it may be in complete works also. 6 Lessons in Raja Yoga. Very small booklet. There he has given very simple instructions on how to practice this kind of yajna, pranayama. Very simple lesson, safe. But more complicated types of pranayama without guidance, we should not try to do. Prana apana gati rudhva, controlling the movement of prana apana, incoming and outgoing breath. Pranayama parayana, those who are dedicated to pranayama, they practice this kind of breath control, pranayama they do. That's also a kind of yajna. Why pranayama? Because it helps to calm down the mind. Now, sloka number 30. Apare niyatahara pranan praneshu juhvati sarvepi ete yajna vidaha yajna kshapita kalmasha. Apare, other people, yet others. Niyataharaha. This is very important for those who do pranayama. If you are doing serious pranayama, then you have to be very careful about the diet. All kinds of diet are not suitable for doing pranayama. Niyataharaha, those who do pranayama, they have to control their diet. With controlled diet, pranan praneshu juhvati. This is a difficult thing. Pranan praneshu juhvati means, I'm going to read the commentary from Swami Ram Sukadas's Sadhaka Sanjeevani commentary. The translation is, with strictly regulated diet, sacrifice vital breaths in vital breaths. Pranan praneshu juhvati. Offering prana into prana. What does that mean? Offering prana into prana. That is a different kind of Raja Yoga practice, which is not to be done by all people. It is explained in this way by Swami Ram Sukadas. The sacrifice of prana into prana. Pranan praneshu juhvati, first line. The sacrifice of prana into prana means sacrifice of the incoming breath into the incoming breath and sacrifice of the outgoing breath into the outgoing breath. I don't know how to do that one. That is, the acts of inhalation and exhalation are both suspended. Please don't try that one. It is there, a very special kind of pranayama, not meant for all of us. If you suspend both incoming, outgoing breath, what happens? For how long can you do that one? That's impractical. So that is, the acts of inhalation and exhalation are both suspended. This is called stamba vritti pranayama. Stamba means stopping something, not meant for people like some very specialized kind of yogis. They want to achieve certain powers, so the thing they do it is not for us. All of these different kinds of yajnas, sarvepi ete yajna vidaha. All these people who do different kinds of yajna. You are also doing yajna right now. Swachaya jnana yajna we are doing. So doesn't that be something very complicated and exotic? This is kind of yajna also we are doing now. Very sattvic kind of yajna, safe. We cannot, there's no adverse side effect in Swadhyaya. It doesn't make any, create any adverse side effect if you study Gita. It will be safe and only give benefits. Sarve piyete yajna vidaha. Those who, yajna vidaha means those who know how to do various kinds of yajna. All these people, yajna kshapita kalmashaha, they become free from impurities by performing their certain chosen kind of yajna. How do we become free from impurities? By Gita study. Safest way to purify the mind is sit down and study Bhagavad Gita, chant the Lord's name. No adverse side effect. It can't go wrong there. It may be slow, but it surely works. So this is one kind of yajna. So in this way, different kinds of yajna, different people do. Now we go to shloka number 31. This idea has come in the 3rd chapter already. Yajna shishta mrata bhujo yanti brahma sanatanam nayam lokosti ayajnasya kutonya purusattama. The idea is some kind of yajna we have to do. Whichever is feasible, appropriate, that we can do. A person's life without doing yajna is futile. Nothing happens. That person cannot succeed in this life. Forget about spiritual life. So yajna shishta amrita bhujaha. After performing yajna, shishta means remaining. After performing yajna, whatever remains, that is amrita, that is nectar. If a guest comes to the house and you prepare food and serve the guest first, let that guest eat nicely, serve lovingly. After he eats, he or she eats, the remaining food, if you take, that is amrita, yajna shishta amrita, that is. After offering as yajna something to somebody, whatever remains, if I partake of that, my mind becomes, that is amrita, yajna shishta amrita. Amrita bhujaha, those who partake of the remaining remains after performing yajna, what happens? Brahma sanatanam yanti. They will go to Brahman, realize the ultimate reality. They partake of the ambrosial remains of these sacrifices and repair to the eternal Brahman. So when before we eat something, we have to offer something to somebody. Remaining we should eat. This is done in a simpler way. It can be done here also. See, before we eat, in Indian practice, before you start eating rice and dal and vegetable, everything, you take a morsel of food and keep it on a separate plate out on the side. Keep it aside. Then you start eating. And after eating, take that food and offer it to the birds and animals. Or before you start eating, take that morsel of food, keep it outside for birds and animals, then you come back and eat the remaining. That is yajna shishtam. That becomes amrita. First offering After offering, what remains that I am taking, that is nectar. That purifies the mind and helps me to realize God. That is, it came in third chapter also. Bhunjate te tvagam papa ye pachantyatma karanat. If a person who cooks only for oneself, atma karanat ye pachanti. Just me, myself, I eat my food. I don't care about other people, animals, and plants. Such people are eating their own sin. Agam papa ye bhunjate. Third chapter. We should not be like that. Offering first. Then you take the remaining, that is amrita. That is nectar. That purifies the mind. So that is the idea here. Offering first yajna, then remaining we take. Yajna shishta amrita bhajo yanti brahma sanatanam nayam lokosti ayajnasya. Ayajna means a person who does not perform any kind of yajna. Some kind of yajna we have to do. Not all yajna is suitable for everybody. Whatever is suitable, we have to do. If a person does not do any kind of yajna, such a person is called ayajna. Ayajnasya, ayam lokaha nasti. In this world, he cannot succeed. You want to succeed in the worldly life, you have to perform yajna. Cultivate that attitude of sacrifice, unselfishness, serving other people, animals and plants. That attitude is to be cultivated. Kutonya kurusottam. Anya means the other loka. Other loka means hereafter, what will happen? This we don't know. Where is success in the other world? Neither in this world nor in the world hereafter. Such a person who does not perform any kind of yajna, can he succeed? Spiritual life is not possible unless we cultivate the attitude of yajna in everything. Doesn't have to be any kind of one specific yajna, whatever is possible, suitable, convenient under the present circumstances in which we live. Now here, you cannot take food and put outside for animals. In this country, it's not possible. So what do we do? Every month or every week or every month, whenever you take a certain food, whenever you bring grocery, we do that one here. Whenever you bring grocery, our devotees do it. So they buy two extra packets of cereals or some canned goods or some kind of thing. Our devotees, we have two big boxes in the entrance, two big cardboard boxes are there. So our devotees, whenever they do grocery shopping, they bring one or two extra things and put it into that box. You also put some things into the box. These are not perishable, canned and boxed food items which will stay. So when the boxes become full, our volunteer devotees take the boxes every now and then, whenever it becomes full, and give it to a soup kitchen. Last Saturday, 2 boxes were very full, overflowing. So our devotees took it and gave it to the soup kitchen. That is our kind of yajna. We cannot feed animals and plants in India as we do in India. Here it is a local condition. Wherever you live, as permitted by the local conditions, you perform yajna. That is yajna. When our devotees, when they come here, they simply drop a box of cereals or pasta or something into the box. We don't notice it. We don't know who put what. And by the end of the week, it is full. So we give it to the soup. That is kind of yajna. Poor people are there with no food to eat. God has given so much, more than we need. So should we not share? That is yajna. After giving them whatever remains, if we partake of that one, that is pure food. That is amrita. That purifies the mind. So that is sloka number 31. Next, 32 is kind of conclusion of this section. 33. Evam bahuvidha yajna vitata brahmano mukhe karmajan vidhitan sarvan evam jnatva vimoksyase. Evam bahuvida yajna vitata brahmano mukhe karmajan vidhitan sarvan Evam jnatva vimokshase. In this way, evam, thus, bahuvida yajna, different kinds of, many different kinds of yajnas, brahmano mokhe vidhata, they have been spread by the mouth of Brahma. Brahma himself has stipulated or explained different kinds of yajnas. Tan sarvan, all those yajnas, tan sarvan yajnan, karmajan vidhi, they are born of how do we do yajna? By doing some action. Yajna happens when you do action. That is studied in the third chapter. Yajna, for yajna to happen, action is necessary. Any action that you do is to be done as yajna. Tan sarvan, karmajan vidhi tan sarvan, evam jnatva, by knowing in this way, performing all karma as action, all karma as yajna, evam jnatva, vimokshase, you will become free, you will achieve liberation, moksha. Thus have many sacrifices been spread out in the pages of the Veda. Know them all to be born of works. Knowing thus will you be liberated. So performing as many, if not all, as many as possible, whatever work we do, with an attitude of karma, offering lovingly, with unselfish motive, may others benefit from this work. Like this, with that motive, if you do some work, that is enough. We don't have to all big scale, big yajna, we cannot do as individuals, but the attitude has to be cultivated. Everything I do, everything I have is for other people. I also am included in that one. Now, 33 is the conclusion of this section, yajna section. Almost. We'll do complete 33. Shreyan dravyamaya yajnat jnana yajna parantapa sarvam karma khilam partha jnane parisamapyate. Shreyan means better. Dravyamaya yajnat, better than material yajna. Dravya yajna means material yajna, material sacrifice. Jnana yajna, Shreyan. Jnana yajna is better than material yajna. That's also good. Material yajna is also good. We have a group of people here. They have formed a Havan group, 10, 12 families. So every month they meet in one family. They do Havan, they sponsor Havan. This is Arya Samaj Havan. Every month one host family hosts it. So that way they perform yajna. Once a month they do yajna. That is Dravya yajna. It is good because it takes the mind towards God. I'm offering something to God, chanting God's name, chanting Gayatri mantra, they're offering with devotion. That is very good. That's Dravya yajna. Better than that, Dravya mayat, Jnana yajna Shreyan. Jnana yajna means thinking, studying, thinking, and performing all actions as yajna. Sarvam karma khilam partha jnane parisamapyate. All works, akhilam karma, all work without exception. Akhilam karma, O Arjuna, jnane parisamapyate, culminates in knowledge, if done as yajna. If any work, if it is done as yajna, will culminate in knowledge, knowledge of the self. If the same work is done not as yajna, then it will take us to ignorance. Work is the key. Do it one way, liberation. Do it the other way, bondage. Swami Tyagananda gave this example. I like his example. You remember old-fashioned locks, not the digital combination lock. Old-fashioned lock, they used to have key. So to insert the key to lock it. If you turn it to the right, the lock is locked. If you turn the key to the left, the lock is unlocked. So karma is the key. If you turn it one way, do it right, liberation. Do it in the opposite way, bondage. Karma is the key. Sarvam karma khelam partha jnane parisamapite. That means since you are doing karma all the time you have opportunity to practice. yajna and move towards liberation. For this, you don't have to go anywhere, change your job. You can stay in your families, in your own home. No need to change anything. Same work you do, but change your attitude. With love, with joy, with gratitude, to all work, you will see the difference. Doesn't have to be great deeds, small things like that one. Whenever you go to some place, leave the place in a better condition than it was when you entered it. Supposing I go to the kitchen and then I drink water or whatever, then I see somebody has kept a cup there, used cup. So I can walk away without doing anything, or I can wash that cup and put it in the rack and walk. If I wash the cup that is there waiting to be washed, one cup, put in the rack and leave, then I'm leaving the kitchen in a better condition in which it was when I entered the kitchen. Then I have done yajna. In this way, or I can ignore it and add my used cup also there, put one more unused, and I can walk away. Which way do I do? Either I can leave the kitchen in a better condition or in a worse condition. The choice is up to me. So in this way, we have to take every opportunity, small things. Doesn't have to be big, grand things. Use it as yajna, do it with love, joyfully, gratefully, thankful for this opportunity. And mind becomes pure and calm. Devotion will enhance, devotion to God will become deeper. Life will be joyful and paves the way for liberation. That is the topic of yajna. So far, in third chapter, fourth chapter, we have touched the topic of yajna. Only thing to remember is 3.9, chapter 3, shloka name. Any work that is not done as yajna is binding. Therefore, do all work as yajna. That's all we have to remember. How we do it, we can decide in our own humble ways. We don't have to do it in any big grand ways. Sometimes I know there was a Swamiji there in India, and he used to organize huge yajnas. 5,000 people used to gather, and there used to be hundreds of yajna kundas, and they're all doing the chanting and huge celebration, 3-day celebration. That is not possible for ordinary people like us. Some people can do it. Our small things. Just washing the cup here, cleaning the place there with love and joy, gratitude. So in the next shloka 34, the topic is how to seek a guru and what to do when a guru is approached, how to approach a guru. Those things we'll study next time. Very interesting verse will come. If you have any questions or comments, you can bring it up now.
Namaskaram, Swamiji. The same thing that you said in chapter, like verse 25, where you invoke Atman within your body. That's a standard practice in Srividya Upasana, where you invoke the chakram, you invoke the Devi, you put the yoga pitam and do prana pratishtha, and then you invoke her into yourself. So that's standard practice. I just want to say a similarity between Srividya Upasana.
Even in our puja, which you do here, we invoke the deity in the heart. You create a asana there, invoke the presence of deity you are worshipping, offer mental worship, then we offer in external worship. That's practice. First, worship the deity in your heart, then external worship. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may all be happy. May all be free from diseases and other problems. May all understand and practice what is right, auspicious. May no one be subject to suffering. Oh, peace. May there be peace in our hearts. Adhyatmika Shanti. May there be peace and harmony amongst all beings, no ill will, no hatred. Adi Bhautika Shanti. May there be peace everywhere in nature. Adi Daivika Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Sri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu. All of you stay well.